Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today on this episode, let's talk lipless crankbaits and one of the biggest modifications that I do to my lipless crankbaits to make them even better for fishing around grass. This is something that I learned a long time ago, and when I started doing it, I started reducing the amount of grass that I would hang up on, and my hooking percentage was great with it. So this is something that will really help you if you're really getting exhausted of not being able to free your bait of the grass, whether it's hydrilla or milfoil, coontail, whatever it is. This is a really good tip. But first, I want to mention that your tackle also might be an issue. So let's talk about like some of the things that I like to use with my lipless crankbaits that really help me be more efficient fishing around grass. The first thing that I see a lot of people make a mistake with is using too parabolic of a bend type rod. So like a composite rod or fiberglass really isn't a thing nowadays. I haven't seen a full fiberglass rod in a long time. But people always think that with crankbaits, you have to fish a composite rod or something with a stronger bend and a more parabolic bend to it. And that's just not the case. I am a huge believer when it comes to my lipless crankbaits, my chatterbaits, and my spinnerbaits with using a 7.3 medium heavy rod. 100% graphite. It's got a really strong backbone to it, like a medium heavy wood, fast action. This is the perfect rod for me especially when I'm fishing around grass. Now, if I'm fishing a lipless crankbait in like serious open water where there's no grass at all, yeah, if I'm having a hard time getting a good hook set for whatever reason, maybe they're short striking it, I might consider going back to a composite rod. But in general, this is a awesome rod in all different situations. So I really don't change with my lipless crankbait. And I'm going to tell you why. Number one, a faster action rod, medium heavy power is going to allow you to free your bait of the grass very easily, especially if you're using something like fluorocarbon, which is what I like to use with my lipless crankbaits. Usually it's like 15 to 20 pound test fluorocarbon. There's a little bit of stretch there. And so having a rod that can take that stretch out, manage that stretch better, and get that bait freed, or even get a good solid hook set is really important. So using a rod that is a little bit stiffer and a little bit more responsive and sensitive is a really big plus when using lipless crankbaits. That's just my 2 cents when it comes to the tackle to use. And also you want to make sure that you're using like a 7.2 to 1 gear ratio or something in that range. Because these reels, if you use a slower speed gear ratio reel, I really just don't think that you're going to be able to catch up with a fish that is charging at you, and you're not going to be able to catch up with the bait after you rip it through the grass. I think that a lot of people just get hung up on the tackle that they use for deep diving build crankbaits with their lipless crankbaits, and I think that's a huge mistake. All right, so let's get to the tip though that we're doing this video about. So even with this graphite rod, fishing in the grass, there's times where the grass is just so thick and it's just so hard to get your bait to come through that grass clean. But this right here is going to be an easy way to combat that. So the way that a lipless crankbait runs, with right out of the package, just regular, runs kind of like this. It's kind of nose down like this, okay? Which is great for fishing around grass, because the nose makes contact with the grass, and a lot of times the hooks will miss it, all right? However, if you can get this to even go more nose down, okay, that's even better. And if you can get rid of some of the hooks on here, some of the hook points that snag the grass, even better. So one thing that I started to do, it was something that a lot of guys down in Florida were doing when I was fishing the Kissimmee chain, which had a lot of offshore hydrilla fishing this time of year. And what I ended up doing is, instead of having 2 hooks on my lipless crankbait, I ended up upsizing to like a size 2 and taking off the rear hook. So you only have 1 hook. And what this does is, yeah, you have a bigger hook on there. So theoretically, you know, you would think that it would snag more, but really what it does is it even makes that nose go further down. Okay, so it's like more nose down, and it keeps that hook out of the way to snag, and you don't have that other hook on the back to snag as much. So this is actually something I did quite a bit and had a lot of success with. So if you're grass fishing and having a hard time getting your lipless crankbait through that grass, try this. Try taking off your rear hook and upsizing your front hook. And I think that it's definitely going to help you catch more fish and be more efficient like it did for me. So anyways, that is my lipless crankbait tip for you guys that are fishing grass. If you have any questions at all, or you have your own customization that you want to tell me about, definitely drop a comment below. Other than that, make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe. I'm going to see you out on the water. Trust the process.